Okay, let's dive right into this. For the last 20 years, the software industry has basically leaned on one incredibly reliable default model for making money, right? Per seat pricing. But today, we're looking at a total, absolute collapse of this 2-decade-old standard. And the reason? The explosive rise of AI agents. So, in this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly why the old way of charging by the headcount is completely breaking down, and we'll look at the new frameworks companies are scrambling to adopt just to survive. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll look at the end of per seat pricing, evaluate the 3 models currently on the table, reveal the hybrid winner, run through a really crucial outcome test, and finally, look at why pricing is actually a product decision. We've got a lot of ground to cover to show you exactly how to fix your pricing strategy, so let's get right to it.
Section 1. The end of per seat. Let's look at why this historical dominance is suddenly so incredibly vulnerable. Think about how we've bought and sold software for the last 2 decades. Charging by the headcount just worked perfectly. It was simple math and, frankly, a much simpler time. More human users directly equaled more value extracted from the software. So if your company grew from, say, 50 employees to 500, you got exponentially more value out of the tool, and the software vendor got paid more for those additional seats. It was total, perfect alignment between the buyer and the seller. And this brilliantly illustrates where that simple math completely shatters. It breaks down the second your user isn't a human, but an AI agent. Look, when your users are humans, seats equal value. But imagine an AI agent, right now, instantly resolving 100 customer support tickets an hour. It is seamlessly doing the work of 10 human beings. Suddenly, what exactly is one seat worth? The equation just falls apart because the agents are doing the heavy lifting, not your human employees. And this isn't some distant, futuristic problem either. According to a projection by Gartner, 40% of enterprise apps are going to embed AI agents by the end of 2026. Let that sink in. 40%. That is absolutely huge. If you're a founder, a product manager, or really anyone involved in software strategy, this creates an immense urgency. The unit of work is fundamentally shifting right beneath our feet.
Because here's the thing. The moment an AI agent acts as a user, per-seat pricing creates this massive paradox. It literally punishes your best customers. Think about it. If your software helps a company automate more work, they naturally need fewer humans. So they either buy fewer seats, which means you lose revenue despite providing massive value, or you force them to pay for these ghost seats that no actual human occupies. That leaves your absolute best buyers feeling totally ripped off and frustrated. It's just a complete lose-lose scenario.
Now, the market is already reacting to this incredible friction. Back in 2019, usage-based pricing models were adopted by roughly 30% of SaaS companies. Fast forward to 2024, and that number has skyrocketed to about 85%. As the unit of work shifts away from humans and over to AI agents, companies are practically rushing to find pricing models that actually track the real value being delivered.
Which brings us to Section 2, 3 models on the table. Let's evaluate the actual pricing frameworks available to survive this huge paradigm shift. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can systematically break down the trade-offs we all have to navigate. Basically, we have 3 main contenders. First, the classic subscription model. You know it, it's predictable, it's easy to budget, simple to sell. But as we just discussed, it breaks the second usage, decouples from headcount. Second, we have the usage-based model. Here, you charge per run, per API call, or maybe per token. This aligns cost with consumption perfectly. But let's be honest, those terrifying variable bills at the end of the month, they can give buyers a literal heart attack and actually punish them for adopting your tool more heavily. And finally, outcome-based pricing, charging per resolved ticket or per qualified lead. It represents the tightest value alignment possible, for sure, but it is notoriously difficult to operationalize. So how on earth do you choose?
Well, that leads us directly into Section 3, the hybrid pricing winner. Let's look at what the market is actually doing right now.
In practice, the companies that are really winning in the AI space today aren't forcing themselves into just one box. They're blending them. The emerging dominant strategy is hybrid pricing. Essentially, this is a base subscription combined with a usage or outcome component. And it perfectly balances the friction we were just talking about. The base subscription covers your fixed costs and gives the buyer that financial predictability they desperately want. Then, that variable layer allows you, the vendor, to capture the upside when your product actually delivers massive results. It really is the best of both worlds. Section 4, the outcome pricing test. We really need to talk about the most unforgiving model on the table. So, should you charge for outcomes? It's incredibly seductive, isn't it?
The logic is so appealing. If your AI does the work, just charge for the work. But I want to warn you right now, outcome pricing is incredibly unforgiving. If you get this wrong, you will spend way more time and money in bitter billing disputes than you will ever earn in revenue. You have to be absolutely certain your company is truly ready for it. Let's move to and see how this builds. To survive outcome pricing, you must pass a rigorous 3-part test before committing. You need to ask yourself 3 absolutely critical questions. 1. Is the outcome technically verifiable? Meaning, can your system unequivocally detect that the job was actually done? 2. Can it be cleanly attributed to your product and not, say, to the customer's own internal efforts or some other tool they're using? And 3, will the customer agree on what specifically counts as success before they even sign the contract? Listen, if your answer to any of these 3 questions is no, stop right there. Outcome pricing quietly and severely penalizes products that cannot definitively prove their impact.
Finally, Section 5, Pricing as Product Decision. Let's shift our perspective on who actually owns this strategy inside your company.
So, the crucial point is, there's a mantra you really need to adopt here. Pricing is a product decision, not a finance one. It's not just a spreadsheet exercise for the finance team in the back room. Your pricing model actively encodes the exact value you claim to deliver, and it reflects exactly how confidently you can measure that value. It is deeply fundamentally tied to how your product actually functions and how your real users experience it.
To successfully design these new models, especially if we're talking about outcome or hybrid pricing, you need hard evidence, not gut guesses. Guessing your pricing in the AI age is a guaranteed recipe for disaster. This means connecting crucial product signals, usage analytics, support resolutions, customer interviews, the whole shebang. Platforms like Specky pull these scattered signals into a single, cohesive product graph, allowing your product team to see exactly where customers get value. That way, you can build a pricing model based on solid reality, rather than dangerous assumptions.
You have to remember this fundamental rule. To price on outcomes, you have to actually be able to see the outcomes. It's that simple. The exact same data that proves your product worked, the usage patterns, the resolved tickets, the converted leads, is the exact data that lets you charge for it. The unit of value in software is definitively shifting away from how many seats you fill and moving toward the real, measurable results you deliver. Which leaves us with one final provocative question for you to take away today. I want you to look at your own business model and ask yourself, are you pricing for seats or for the value you can actually prove? It's time to rethink the default. Ground your pricing in what your product truly delivers, blend models to de-risk your strategy, and prepare for the age of the AI agent. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.